Hey everybody, welcome back to the Feature Crew. Super exciting day in the world of AI. We got the long-awaited GPT-4o image generation. If you remember, this was originally announced almost a year ago when the 4o model came out in the first place. And so we've been waiting for this native image generation to replace DALL-E. It comes with promises of better scene understanding, better world understanding, better context, the ability to pipe image context through to future generated content. So we're super excited and we'll see what it's capable of.
So here we are. First step we're going to do is about style transfer from a image that we provided. So very impressive feature. We're going to take a picture right here and use that as a starting place. We're going to ask it to generate in the style of Family Guy. And from there, we're going to see if it can keep coherence in the same conversation and kind of go through a storyboard, giving it additional kind of examples and see how it does with that. Initial results seem very promising. So yeah, let's see how it goes. We took a photo live.
Yep.
We'll
get that transferred over.
We'll get that transferred over and then go from there.
So we've got the image loaded up. It's you can see a little bit more of our set here that's in my apartment. First step is to ask the AI to transform this into Family Guy style. We picked Family Guy style because we like it and because it's super recognizable, so people should be able to tell how well it did. So sending it off, I also gave it a little bit of extra context that Dylan's on the left and I'm on the right, so that as we start working through the storyboard phase, we can refer to ourselves by name, and then it'll be able to hopefully follow those instructions.
When it actually generates the image, you'll see it kind of has this getting started UI. It does take quite a while, to generate an image. I often see it takes maybe 20, 30 seconds, right? It could be just because lots of people are using it at the moment, but it takes a little while to get engaged. And then you'll see it kind of as it comes in here. You see kind of almost like opaqueness to it, and then over time it kind of starts filling in top to bottom. So we'll cut from here, but this is kind of the UX you see.
Yeah. So we can see it kind of streaming in now at the high detail mode, I guess.
Yeah.
And you can already see the classic Family Guy animation style with the clean lines, the big eyes, right? It's interesting to see how it did my stubble this time. In the last photo I tested this with, I had less facial hair. But you can see we'll pull up, once it's done streaming in, we'll pull up the original image so you can compare side to side, but the coherence here is incredible.
It got all the color of our clothes correct, face shapes are kind of right. So that's the original image.
And we can see, it's a little hard to show side by side here, but you can see on the screen now,
taking a little bit of creative liberty in terms of sizing, dimensions, but it's made it look even better, right?
Yeah, it should look better.
Making it actually what you'd see in an animation or something, good sizing and stuff. So great first image. Now let's keep pushing it. We're going to see if it can keep this coherence. So we're going to either introduce elements and make it almost a storyboard to take you through. So let's tee up the next one.
So we're asking it now to take our characters and make it into a storyboard. The first thing that's going to happen is a classic Family Guy hijink. The evil chicken is going to burst into the room. We basically just gave it that guidance, and we also asked for an aspect ratio change now that we're moving into storyboard mode. So we're going to see if it can do that. We're going to see if it can introduce the new character, follow our instructions, and then most importantly, keep coherence with the character and setting from the previous generation.
Yep. So it's come back, done a good job. If we scroll up to the first image that was generated, you can see it's kept coherency in terms of the setting, the color of our clothes, the green curtain. It's given Jacob a mustache this time. So it's kind of transition to facial hair, but kind of call it there was facial hair. The chicken's barging in through the door. Looking pretty good so far.
So now that we're moving on to the next frame, for the first frame, we gave pretty detailed instructions on what we wanted to happen. Now that the model knows we're working through a story, we're going to just ask it what happens next. And so this is to sort of show off that virtuous cycle between generating text, generating images, maybe even in the future generating audio in this same line. And we're getting towards this full-on multimodal story generation.
So prompting it with just what happens next, again, stressing the omni modalities here. It's now remembered that this is now frame 2. It's actually trying to tee up almost like what it would be in full show. It's working through that, and then we'll be able to go from here to be like, okay, now add that to the storyboard. So it's awesome how you can kind of go back and forth with this. It even asked at the end, want me to generate that frame? So let's go ahead and say yes.
It's also starting to get into a little bit of comedy. Something I've noticed about the newer, more personable versions of these models is they're getting funnier, especially if you let them be funny.
Yeah. So immediately just saying, yes, let's do it. It knows that in context, that means to generate an image. It's going ahead and kicking that off. So, the amount of chat history and chat understanding seems to be pretty good for this release. So
we got a response. Super impressive. I think with this type of thing, we're always going to find some lack of coherency. In this example, in this script, I'm pretty sure that was tofu line was supposed to come from Dylan, but it came from me. But then again, it's like the coherency is still orders of magnitude than what we're used to. The characters are the same. There is perfectly rendered text,
Yep.
right? It's rendered correctly above characters, even if not the correct character in every instance.
Yeah.
The scene has stayed coherent.
This is honestly like incredible.
Yeah.
Like as a first react, like this is the first time I've seen the text. Text is perfectly aligned. Even the speech bubbles are like really impressive. There's no like lack of coherency. You know, there's a few visual artifact issues with nitpicking, but like for the style of Family Guy, this is like spot on.
Yeah.
Right. Let's maybe do one or two more just to see,
Just to see how it keeps going, and that to prove that it can it's not just like a one-trick pony, right? It can keep going through the conversation and keep coherence. One thing we're going to be looking out for in my testing, as the conversation gets longer and longer, we start to notice more and more of these little weird things, like the text bubble being over the wrong person, or a beard turning into a mustache. Whereas broad strokes, like the characters and their clothes, in my experience, tend to stay the same. So we'll be keeping an eye on that as we move forward.
So giving a very open-ended request, we're saying a brawl breaks out. We want to see how it actually interprets that request. Awesome. So let's actually click open it. The image was generated. You can see, there's a little bit of visual stuff, like the eyes gone. Jacob has lost facial hair again. So now we're doing another prompt to say it moves to the fight escalates and moves to the NYC streets. So what we want to test here is, can it keep a coherency of the characters but change the
while
environment?
It's changing the environment? Yep.
Right. So it's kept the green curtain, the couch, and the other like kind of artifacts in the original photo. You can see it's coming through now. We can already see at the top. There's a bit of the brown brick buildings and stuff. So picked up that it's NYC streets being city.
My hair is... I cannot decide what level of facial hair I should have. Which is so interesting, right? Like, it's keeping everything coherent except my beard. Like, I'm just so curious why. There's got to be some reason.
Regardless, it's done a good job to then put onto the streets. We're still brawling, still relatively coherent. All the colors are correct. And let's do one more.
Challenge mode. We want to see if it can wrap up this fight, but do it all in one go. So we're going to ask for a multi-pane sort of comic setup, where there's going to be multiple of these stills in one full image. So we're just asking it, to like escalate and then wrap up.
And it's really interesting, again, first impressions here, that you can use this for both ideation and kind of like flowing back and forth. You're using the creativity part of it to be like, hey, like we haven't actually been prescriptive of what we want the fight to wrap up with. We certainly could do that, but to be like, hey, like, what do you think? This is going to be a very valuable tool for doing things like storyboarding, actually like creating, like potential content. We have this like amazing resource. So first impressions, even from storyboarding alone, really, really cool. Okay, so towards the end, and I've become half chicken. So this was certainly...
Challenge mode. Good challenge mode.
Good challenge mode. Maybe this is what we use moving forward. It has complied with the request to make like a multi-stage comic. I even we're talking that it made, 5, like 2 at the bottom. But even as we open it, you can see it's lost a lot of coherency compared to what it previously had. Like when you look at some of the people, they're all kind of breaking up. On the bottom left, my character has kind of merged with the chicken. There's duplications and that. So a lot of visual discrepancies here. But that was definitely more of a challenge mode to try and put multiple images in one go. Seems to start to kind of overload its memory per se.
Right. But even then, it's like you see some of the high-level coherence that we've never seen in other models, or that we've only seen in this new round of like native image generation models, I should say. Check out our Google image generation video. We'll do a comparison when we get a chance. But then you see some like really interesting world understanding. A fight occurred, and so therefore Dylan's pants should be messed up in the last frame after the fight, right? And so it's like this multimodal world understanding will only continue to get better, right? And so expect soon to get a 6-pane, 5-pane comic where it's all coherent and where we don't lose eyeballs and duplicate characters, right?
But again, I wouldn't even call this a fail. Obviously, very impressive. We were pushing it for world understanding. It succeeded there, and it's only getting better. Go back 2 years to when we first had DALL-E and stuff, and this is a world of difference to have all the Omni stuff working. So really impressive. We'll also do future videos where we look to use this to create maybe a game or some other kind of coherent content, because you can see already from this we get so many ideas of we should try this, so make sure to subscribe, click the bell, make sure you follow along for us. Okay, so next test, getting a bit meta here. We're wanting to generate something totally new. We're giving it a channel, a little bit of a description, some previous thumbnails, and then we're saying please generate a new thumbnail for this video that demonstrates 4.0 native image gen. So we want to see, again, a bit of a stretch here. Can it see the kind of things we were previously doing, and can it make something coherent? You'll probably need to add some kind of text and so on. So we haven't tried this before. Let's see how it goes. We can see ChatGPT 4.0, and we're wondering if we're going to get any photorealistic version of us. It doesn't look like it here. Let's see.
Wait, what do you think that is on the right?
Is it generating some kind of random person?
No. That looks like it could be me, or some combination of us.
What is this?
It looks like a combination of different parts of us.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually terrifying. Wait, that's so like part me, part Chris, part you.
Yeah. That is. Oh, what the hell? As this finished, this is not even a bad thumbnail, to be honest. It kind of. ChatGPT 4.0 is kind of neon-esque. It's blended us. It knows we often have someone.
I can. It's so not over me and Chris combined. I think it's mostly me and Chris.
Yeah, it kind of looks like it's merged. At least Jacob and Chris.
Maybe some amount of Dylan in there.
Some amount of me. Like, that's kind of terrifying, honestly. But, like, okay, in terms of it doing what we asked, great understanding that, you know, like, the thumbnails we gave are hard because it's not all the same, but it's picked up on the brick, the neon, it's added text coherently. It has already, like, you know, understood that we want to at least show ChatGPT 4.0. So, very impressive. We're going to now give it one specific thumbnail and see, can you make it more engaging, and see how it goes from that. Like, you know, mirroring, photorealism, and so on. So
we just pulled our most recent thumbnail, and we're asking it to optimize for engagement rate. I think we got too used to being in chats where there's a lot of image generation, because it sort of understandably is like doing an analysis of the image. I think this is great, because after we get this analysis, we can ask it to implement its own suggestions.
Okay, so at the end it says, would you like me to go ahead and apply these enhancements and give you the edited version? Do it. In a way, it's actually been great to give it that open-endedness. Now it's got a longer prompt with some ideas, and we can probably cross-reference that as well.
Okay, this is actually like I hate that this would probably get clicks, right? Like, I never want to put this thumbnail anywhere. Like, it's awful, but
wow.
But it's probably correct that this would get clicks.
Yeah, like, we were just, as it's coming through, it looks very Mr. Beastie, like it's kind of applied a filter. If we scroll back up, you can see it's kind of kept, like, Jacob's kind of looking up, same shirt, Chris is kind of looking down this way. AI devs try, Gemini 2.5. Like,
even kind of made a Google logo,
yeah. It's got all the text. Again, text is coherent. It's kind of applied the filter that is very common on thumbnails like this.
Yellowy filter,
Yellowy filter.
The one thing that impresses me a lot is that it did something that, like, a real photo editor would do, where it took pasted in, like, me and Chris, like the layers of us, and then it put the red light bleed around the edges, and then on Chris's hair, it's actually really impressive. Like, it actually kind of looks real, whereas on mine, it's a little clear that, you know, there was some editing going on, but...
this is kind of insane.
So just because this is going so well, we want to do a few more and see if we can get something useful for the channel out of it. So we're going to go back to that other chat where it's primed with some high-level channel information, and we'll start asking for some assets we thought of, like a sticker pack and a T-shirt. Yeah. So we'll run those, and we'll let you know what's able to put together.
We gave the same kind of thing, some thumbnails. We've given it a top banner, and we're asking it to create assets that fit the vibe of our channel, starting with some Feature Crew merch, specifically T-shirt designs. So let's see how it creates it.
It found, like, the text styling, the colors, the blue, the yellow, the red from the banner, but then it modified them so it would fit on a T-shirt, but it, like, kept the font. I mean, this is...
Like, a text being this coherent, including all the, like, context, that alone is, like, a massive step change. And then the TFC, so it's already, you know, we just did create some mock-ups. It fantastically did this. And even has a great big background. Like, you could already, like, put this onto, like, Shopify. And
this is starting to remind me of when I first saw the DALL-E demos. When DALL-E first came out, on the page, one of the examples was an avocado chair.
Yeah.
Right? And I thought that was incredible because I hadn't seen any of, I mean, maybe there are avocado chairs out there, but I thought that it was like, okay, it's designing this new product basically via image generation.
Yeah.
So it opens your mind to, okay, well, what if it can then generate a blueprints just via image generation? Like, it goes even deeper. It's not just an image anymore. It's not just a picture. It's like got more value in there. And this is one of those moments, like, let us know if you want any of these shirts, because I kind of want some of these shirts.
And the fact that this, again, took no time at all. Like, we just gave it some prompts. Like, the amount of understanding here is what is the big step change, right? Because previously an avocado chair is like, oh, that's interesting, but hard to translate into real life when you really start to use it. Whereas for us, it's like, hey, this is our channel, and can you help us like think about these things? And then we can go from here and create, design more. Like really, really impressive. I'm kind of shocked. Like this is a very impressive release. This is kind of a joy to play with. Like I actually just want to go keep trying it out. So let us know how you've found this release. Let us know if you found any cool features. Please, like, follow, subscribe. We'll have many more videos out shortly on this. So yeah, follow along.
Thanks for watching, everyone.